It is that time of year again. It's time for Paleyfest, which if you don't know what that is, it's basically a whole 2-week, maybe long convention of panels for TV shows. And today's panel that I'm going to is Heroes and Aliens, featuring all the superheroes from the CW. Arrow, The Flash, Legends of Tomorrow, Supergirl. And I am super excited. I got my Flash shirt on, I got my Flash hat on, I got an Arrow sweatshirt, and we're gonna go see what kind of secrets they're gonna dish to us. Made it inside the theater. We're at the Dolby Theater, which is the home of the Oscars, and before they start, they usually let us watch an episode. There's a lot of shows involved this one, so I'm not sure what they're gonna do, but if you look down here, that's where the red carpet is currently going on.
Best team up ever!
Okay, I am back from Paleyfest, and unfortunately, you're not allowed to record in there, otherwise I would show you some video highlights. Instead, you're just gonna have to listen to me ramble about those highlights. So this panel was moderated by the hilarious Kevin Smith, and a lot of it was spent highlighting, what makes each of these 4 shows special, and how they kind of came about, and discovering characters and whatnot. However, there were a few tidbits revealed. Now, when it comes to Arrow, during the fan Q&A, a young fan asked Stephen Amell if Oliver and Felicity would have some happy times ahead. Earlier in the panel, Stephen joked to the producer saying, "You guys just love torturing the viewers. Admit it," in reference to the romantic relationships of the characters across all these shows. So what is ahead for Olicity? Well, Stephen didn't have the answers as to whether or not they'll have a happy time coming up soon, but he did say, quote, "That's not really up to me, but I will say that they have some really, really cool stuff coming up." So I guess that gives us Olicity shippers a little bit of hope, even though that is like the biggest comment ever, Steven. Now this year we got to see something pretty epic. Arrow, Legends of Tomorrow, The Flash, and Supergirl all had a crossover, which is something that really hasn't been done on TV unless you watch like Chicago PD, Fire, and all those shows. Now the producers did reiterate what they've said previously, that they are hoping to do a true 4-show crossover. Now, even though it's tough to kind of get everyone's schedules to work out, Stephen Amell did say, ultimately the opportunity to do something like this is why we do the shows. It's so the fans can have a 4-night experience, and I totally agree. So let's hope that a true 4-show crossover happens. Now, when asked for ideas for their dream crossover, Stephen Amell quickly answered saying he'd love for the Arrow part of the crossover to have Oliver and Diggle sitting playing chess, having a cup of coffee. And then at the end of the Arrow part, the other heroes from the other shows would run up saying that they need help, and Oliver and Diggle would just go, we're good. Now that would be quite an interesting crossover. On the other hand, Grant Gustin said that he wants Barry and Ray have more scenes together in their crossover, while fans in the audience want Kara and Iris to meet. If you're curious what the villain will be like for season 4 of The Flash, the answer is slower. The villains in the first 3 seasons have all been speedsters, and executive producer Andrew Kreisberg revealed during the panel that, quote, "Next season we're not going to have a speedster as the bad guy." So who exactly is big and bad enough to follow in the footsteps of the Reverse Flash, Zoom, and Savitar and not be speedy? Leave your dream villains in the comments below. Andrew Kreisberg also teased what's coming up in episodes 18 and 19 of The Flash. In episode 18, we'll be introduced to a villain named Abracadabra, who is a villain from the future. He will be played by David Dashmalchian, I probably butchered that, apologies, and his character knows who Savitar is. Now, Abracadabra's knowledge of this information puts Barry and the gang in a very tough spot. Kreisberg said, quote, "It becomes a moral conundrum for them to let Abracadabra go in order to get Savitar's identity. And Iris and Barry have a great scene about it. And for them, it brings up this question of, can you be a hero if you do one bad thing for the better good?" Episode 19 is called The Once and Future Flash, and in it, Barry decides that the only way he can find out what he needs to know is in the future. When it comes to Supergirl and Legends of Tomorrow, there weren't really any hints or spoilers of what's to come talked about during the panel, but the producers did say that they have a lot of stories to get to on Legends of Tomorrow, and they haven't even gotten to like 90% of the index cards they have hanging up in their writer's room. Guess that's what happens when you have a show with so many main characters. Alright, so those were some of the big highlights from the Heroes vs. Aliens panel at Paleyfest, celebrating Arrow, The Flash, Supergirl, and Legends of Tomorrow. I know I'm excited to see how the rest of these seasons play out. I cannot wait for a true 4-show crossover. I really do want Kara and Iris to meet, and I need CW to do it soon. Let me know what you guys would love to see happen on these shows in the future, and then check out some things you might not know about Beauty and the Beast or my interview with the cast of Young and Hungry right over here. Be sure to subscribe for more fun stuff. I'm still going to be hanging out at Paleyfest and hopefully bringing you more of this. I'm Lisa, and I'll see you next time.